Perfect. Hi everyone, my name is Reza, and this session is about an interactive low-key session. It has two parts. The first part is about a 1-minute pitch, which is famously named as elevator pitch. You may have heard of that. It is used in the context of startups and also in the context of like conventional businesses. So we're going to go through the slides together. So the elements of the elevator pitch are the problem. So this slide is more leaning toward this elevator pitch for startups, but as I mentioned, it can also be used for any other conventional business. Ironically, I'm going to give you an example for a conventional business rather than a startup, but you can then. The next step is you come over and you just pitch your idea or your business in a couple of minutes, and we just discuss and give feedbacks, for sure friendly feedback to each other about our pitches, right? So everything, for the sake of this session, has I think 7 elements. The first element is problem. So we're gonna discuss what problem we are gonna address. The second thing is solution. What solution we are offering? What solution our startup or our conventional business is about to solve? And the differentiator. What does differentiate our business from the competitors? Because every idea is not the first time presented in the market, so for sure there are tons of other people thinking about that problem and providing with the maybe similar solution. So what differentiates us from other competitors? It is more applicable in conventional businesses rather than startups. Market size. What market size are we talking about? Are we talking about billions of dollars in Canada, or are we talking about millions of dollars in Canada in terms of total addressable market? Traction. What kind of traction have we already had in the business, right? Is it, even if it's in the idea stage, is this idea well perceived from the audience, or at the beginning there are some rejections right at the beginning? So the traction is also important at team. For the sake of this session, I'm going to give you an example. I mean, that example, I'm a solopreneur, so I don't have any team, but feel free to bring up other team members to present your elevator pitch and ask. What is your ask? This ask can be in terms of fundraising. You can ask for investments. You can ask for co-founders. You can ask for sales. You may be even looking for clients. So your ask or call to action or CTA can be asking anything: investments, just brand awareness, or just purchasing and placing order. So I'm going to give you an example. And my story is I used to be a family physician back home in Iran, and I came to Canada 13 years ago. And when I came to Canada, I decided not to pursue medicine, so I got my licenses in financial markets, insurance, and finance, and I was involved with finance until a couple of months ago when I was laid off. When I was laid off, I was like, thank God, I don't want to be an employee anymore. So I started my own business, which is called Swift Lifesaver. It's a CPR instruction company. And I'm going to break down these items through my example, so you have a better sense of what I'm trying to convey. And then the stage is yours. You can come over and you can give us a pitch. I think we have already 2 volunteers. One, Kirsch, right? And then these couple, they are ready to give us a pitch. So for the sake of example, the problem I'm addressing is that I feel like a few people know about CPR well in Canada. Something like 3 million people are certified for CPR in Canada, and I think that's not enough. I think at least we need 5 million certifications per year in Canada, based on my market analysis, to be issued to get to the level of like G7 standards. So that's the problem I'm trying to address. Not enough people are learning about CPR each year in Canada. And my solution is very straightforward. I'm teaching CPR and first aid. That's very straightforward. As I mentioned, my business is not a startup, a classic startup. It's a very conventional business. And what differentiates me is my background, because I used to be in medical field. That's why I know the CPR inside out. That makes me different from my competitors. That's my differentiator. And in terms of market size, as I mentioned, something like 2 million people right now in Canada are certified each year, and each of them invests something like $100 per their certificate. That's why the market size is something like $0.3 billion per year, which is not a huge market. Most of your startups are targeting larger markets, but this is the market I'm just focusing on right now, $200 million Canadian dollars per year. In terms of traction, I have been able to run some very successful sessions with some clients, and they have all been certified. I have a partnership with the Red Cross, and I'm able to certify for Red Cross. Team, I'm solopreneur, and my ask today is just to be in touch. Let's talk about each other's businesses, our strengths, our weaknesses, and how we can collaborate with each other. That's my ask for you today. This is just a classic example of an elevator pitch, and it is supposed to be in 1 or 2 minutes. Now, the stage is yours, and I invite Kurosh for the first person, for the first volunteer, to go through the elevator pitch. And then we have those beautiful couple, to provide us with the second pitch. Kurosh,
thank you so much.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey folks, I'm Kush. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Link Academia. We're a B2B AI SaaS company, and we specialize in post-secondary education. What problem are we solving? There's a bunch of problems, but to summarize, we're solving the problem of reducing, or rather administrative costs for post-secondary institutions. We all know that due to policy changes and how the markets have been running in this industry right now, colleges, universities, colleges, trade schools, they're all in a pinch of money. So capital, right? They have high labor costs, and they have to deploy a lot of capital to upkeep their existing services.
This is a live event, and you're all here. What happens if I say something and you have a question to ask? Well, usually there are 2 options. Either you will shout your question, which is honestly not very civilized, or somebody passes around the microphone, just like this. And I've seen so many coffee spills, honestly. So it's weird that there's not a seamless and easy solution for this. That's where we come in. We have this idea called Pycap, which is under the company Ad Hocs, and it's as simple as, so the host has this website that can put on the screen by just a click of a button, and then it shows a QR code. And then audiences can scan that QR code, which turns their cell phone into microphones. So the host can easily control who can talk. Then you just press a button on your cell phone and put it in, close to your mouth and start talking, and it acts as a microphone.
Which is the reverse Shark Tank. Okay, let's go to the reverse Shark Tank part. So reverse Shark Tank. The reverse Shark Tank is again interactive, and it's the ball is in your court. It's not. I'm not going to give you a pitch. So it's all about, we just define a problem and we ask for solutions, because there are some problems that are so fundamental that there are not easy solutions for them, and the only way to find a solution is to tap into the collective consciousness or collective unconsciousness to find a solution for that. That's why we want to do an interactive session today, to tap into the wisdom of the crowd and see if we can have some insight towards some very complex situations and problems. Yeah. One of the first problem is uncertainty in finding the product market fit, right? So you do a lot of research, you do a lot of surveys, you interview a lot of clients or potential clients, and you invest a lot of time and money, and you end up with an MVP or minimum viable product. But at the end of the day, it's not going to work, or it works, but the chance of not working is higher. How can we just mitigate that risk? How can we make it more predictable and more, let's say, plannable? The stage is yours. How can we just mitigate the risk of uncertainty in finding the product market fit? I know a lot of you have MVP right now. at what stage your MVP is right now? Is there any traction? Some people have already traction, some people have already agreement in principles for sales, for a PO, purchasing order. But how can we make the product market fit of an MVP more predictable? Any idea?